The idea here is you want to let go of your stories as much as possible. Don't listen to them. Let them run through you. See, when we're getting out of our orientation here in our current reality and trying to fuse with another, your stories are trying to keep you here. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough this. I'm not worthy enough. I don't have this. I'm not this. These are stories created that are not you. You are not your stories. You're not your thoughts. You're not all of this. And the stories are not true. So, for example, Josh, you not being good enough is not true. Now, again, the mind's going to say, well, Scott, you don't get it. Yeah, for some of those past clients, they didn't do this result. I didn't get this result, whatever it is, right? So it seems valid. So the feeling there is valid. But the label of you not being good enough as a coach is not true. Because Josh, I don't know you that well just yet, right? We've had some conversations, but I know I can prove that you've had evidence of some outstanding, amazing people you've worked with and changed their lives. Some you don't even know you changed their lives because of your YouTube videos or your lives or any of that. You don't even know. But the mind is still focusing on not being good enough because it's a wound. Not feeling good enough as a child, not feeling good enough here, not feeling good enough here. So, of course, when I had those 2 clients out of this many clients that didn't get the result, I feel it's something about me. It's something about my skill level. It means something about me. Is everyone following that? Josh, are you following that as well? So the wound, that's why I do so much healing, because the wound is creating the story. The story creates our attachments. The attachments create our stuckness in this old reality. The divine being is allowing you to be separate from the stories. And often it can be helpful to create new stories. They're still not true, but you can create new stories that counteract the old ones. And as you do that, it starts to reinforce your alternative reality. So we're going to do this again. And the idea here is to show you the impact of how much you need to fuse and stay with that alternative reality and how easy it is to not stay synced in. Is anyone else seeing that? No wonder why we don't always manifest what we want. If we can't simply spend 5 minutes, we're talking about not 5 hours, 5 minutes contemplating our goal, our desire, our intentions that we're seeking to get. And just for those 5 minutes, our mind goes back to old stories. What do you think it's doing all day when you're not focusing? All day. So it allows you to see this is hard. This is hard work. If I really want to quantum leap over the next 90 days, I got to do this every day as much as humanly possible. Now, I'm not saying hyper focus on what you need to do, right? We talk about that as having the balance of the attachment work and the identity work. But what I am saying is everything, that conglomerate of what we talked about last Monday, it's going to take that and more to get you fused with this ultimate idea. Now, a lot of successful people that you see with lots of wealth, lots of success, all these different things, sometimes it's like, well, did they even do that? They did, and they also had very different wounds than you. There's one thought leader that I heard her story, and it made everything click. You start seeing all these different behaviors and how everything clicks. Her childhood coping mechanism that she formed was being very arrogant. That was her way of coping with her parents putting her down all the time. Instead of feeling like, oh, I don't deserve love, what happened as a coping mechanism as a child is she put on like this angry mask. Like, I'm the best, I'm this. That's not true either, but she had that. And her coping mechanism actually aided her to become a multimillionaire. A lot of people's coping mechanisms didn't form that way, though. And they see that, look at this person, how good they are and everything else. But it was because their coping mechanism from their trauma actually aided in their success, but they feel more empty than you, right? So it's not so easy to compare one story to another, or does anybody else do this? It's all happening at some point, whether consciously or unconsciously, or of a completely different set of problems, right? Maybe they had great money awareness, but their relationships are like explosions going off. But they're multimillionaire in their personal life. They're so unhappy and so unfulfilled. What would you rather exchange, right? So it gets into the idea of not comparing one to another and just saying, I understand that if I can't even focus for 5 minutes, no wonder why much of my life is staying in the stuck zone. Does that resonate with anyone? Let me throw a yes in the chat box. I like to get a little reading on where you're at. Let me know if you have any questions. This will be a good time to ask a question. Okay, lots of yeses coming through. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this again. We're going to do it for 4 minutes this time. I know we're running out of call time, but this is actually the point of today's call. This is why I want to do this. We're going to follow up with more parallel reality stuff next Monday. One more time, let's look at the drawing here. There's alternative realities. It's all possible right now. Any amount of money that you want, it's possible. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. There's no guarantee that that's going to happen, but it's possible. So the great Les Brown saying, it's possible. I just had a post on that the other day. So it's possible for you, absolutely. Or is it going to be 100% certain? No, it's not going to be. But we can increase the chances. One thing you want to write down in your notes before we play the music one more time is every action towards the desire. So every action towards the desire increases its probability. Every action towards the desire increases its probability. So you don't then your mind doesn't go nuts. Are you just trying to do this to get the money? No, I'm increasing the probability that I will get this. Very different way of studying, very different way of doing these exercises. Every exercise I do, every single time I do my morning routine, I think not to get the thing, it's because I'm increasing the probability that I will. And by doing so, you're already shifting timelines. By the way, you're actually waking up into an alternative reality every single morning, but you don't realize it because it looks the same. We'll talk more deeply about this stuff next Monday. All right, let's do it. 4 minutes, do your very best. Same idea, same amount of money, same everything. Fuse with it, focus in. Your mind gets distracted, bring it right back. Okay. And remember, repeat, thank you out loud.